Determination to change the nation, I'm manifesting the truth. Back in the booth to give you the messages that's been channeling right through me. No, I'm not Jesus, although my spirit is great. I'm eating my food without a plate, escaping this place through my meditation. New life begun when I reloaded the gun and realized where I was from was not too far from the sun. Like somewhere close by the moon. Now I'm connected like Zoom. On walks of life that ever lived, call me like out of the blue. So I just pass it to you, right through your speakers with clues. And if you choose to free your mind, then you will have all the tools. But I can't make you take it and shake it and mentally break yourself out. Cause freeing your mind without a doubt is something you have to try out. But once you see the light, your might, and all the power you've had, then you have reached the fifth dimension and you can brighten your path. But others who choose to follow the red pills, it's harder to swallow. Or you can wallow in your sorrows, feeling all empty and hollow. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you, to you.
Yo, 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 yo. What's happening, peoples? Let me just do this. I'm trying to go live on Instagram first, too, to make sure I got it set. It said you're already live. Okay, cool. It's first time going live on Instagram. So we are still on LinkedIn and we are still on Facebook. So, yeah, it's been a pretty crazy hectic day, crazy hectic week, wrapping all this stuff up. Yeah, got that little award the other day, So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Hey Michelle. Hey Jamisha. Hotel brother. All right. Yeah, so in the wing, I have waiting is my nephew. And before I bring him on, we're going to go ahead and play this video. They interviewed him earlier today. And then I'm going to pop him in the screen. Give me 1 second here. There you go. All right. Here we go.
Week of flames shooting out of this car at a Dundee intersection.
Today, we've learned the man who was in that car is still in the hospital, but doing well. That's thanks to multiple strangers, including a UPS driver who were at the right place at the right time. What started out as a slow day at Amsterdam Falafel and Kebab,
I just had one customer sitting over there and
quickly changed course Thursday.
Suddenly there was just kind of like an explosion. The shop shook and there's a loud noise.
Paige Magnet looked out of the restaurant to see this outside.
Oh my God.
A huge car fire right at the intersection of 50th and Underwood.
And I saw some people run out with fire extinguishers. So then I grabbed ours and ran out.
A group of men, including a UPS driver, looked to see who was in the car.
And he was punching the window to get it open. He was ripping the door off to get it open.
So after that, I decided to try to bust the back window. No success on that.
Deandre Wells is that UPS driver.
He was just screaming. It's kind of hard to hear a man scream. And you couldn't even see him in the driver's side door. There was so much smoke, you couldn't even see him.
After trying multiple ways to get to whoever was inside.
The passenger side was open, and that's how we were able to get him out, through the passenger side door.
Wells helped pull the driver out.
He couldn't really lose his legs, so we tried to get him to walk, which wasn't much, so we had to drag him to the stretcher. So I was really just hoping that he would be able to make it through.
The man did make it through, and while he's not quite ready to talk about the experience on camera, he tells KETV he's grateful for everyone who stepped up to help, including Wells, who, like many good Samaritans,
I just hear it all day, every day,
does not want to be called a hero.
Hey, hero, hey, hero. I don't like it. try to be a good person. And I feel like that's, if I was in that situation, other people would have helped me.
A mindset that ultimately saved the life of a stranger.
Wow. I mean, right, you said it, Q. Right
Yeah.
place, right time.
Yeah.
Man.
Imagine, you know, if those people weren't there.
Yeah. So that's the news clip. And I'm going to go ahead and bring him on so we can just talk to him and y'all can pour some love into him. So without any further ado, here's my nephew, DeAndre Wells. How you doing, nephew? Make sure your mic is unmuted. Let's see. I still can't hear you. Let me just see real quick. It's unmuted. Let me see. Unmute mic. Can't unmute your guest. The mic, their mic isn't connected, it say. Yep, we was just talking. See, whatever you change different. It do show on my screen that it's muted. There we go. There we go. All right. What's happening with your nephew? How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself, huh?
Pretty good. Pretty good. So I wanted to just bring you on the show for one. So the people can actually see you. I mean, you did show up to the award ceremony. I appreciate you being there to see me get that award. But what I wanted to talk to you about is, you know, even like at the end of that clip there, and you said you don't like being called a hero because you was hoping that if you was in that situation, that somebody would do the same for you. And, you know, we actually live in a world where most people probably wouldn't have did the same for you. So, I mean, it's your bravery that I'm commending. And, you know, as a person in the community, people call me community leader or, you know, activist. And I don't like taking on titles, but I guess I just allow people to say what they want to say to me to fit. But, you know, it's just the heart. It's your heart. It's who you are as a person that made you react that way. And I'm just happy that you're my nephew, and I love you for doing what you did. That man, thanks to all of y'all that was on the scene. Actually, it saved his life, and I know he's in you know, was in a coma or whatever, and he's in the burn unit. But indeed, it's your heart, like she said here. I was just saying it's your heart that made you react that way. So let's just run through your day right before you got to that area.
Okay, so it's a bit of a long day. It's kind of hot, so it was a pretty slow day. I was almost done. So I'm on 49th in California. That's when I heard the initial explosion. So at first,
Wow.
didn't know if it was a firework, car crash. I just decided to peek my head around the corner just to be nosy, like many people would do. And that's when I saw the fire. I saw. I didn't know if it was a single person. I didn't know if it was a family. I didn't know if there were kids involved. So that's initially why I decided to try to get myself in the situation. So when I saw it was just one guy, that helped calm me down a little bit because one guy is easy to manage, but more than that will be a little bit harder. So, you want to talk about the situation itself, or just what lead up to it?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so there was already about two guys on the driver's side door. That's when I decided to join in. I grabbed the top right of the door. We got the door open, not open. We managed to rip the top part open. Since the locks are still engaged, we can only get the top of the door open. That's when I decided to try to break the back window. No success on that. So I then went around to the front of the vehicle since the windshield was gone, and I could see his hand sticking through. So maybe I could pull him out to the front. I think his seatbelt was still on, but we managed to get the passenger side door open, the back door, and I crawled in to see if maybe I can pull him out from that way. But I held my breath, but the smoke forced its way down my lungs and throat. So I'm like, hey, if I can't get him out of the front, I'm just gonna have to go back in to get him. But we managed to get the passenger side door open, and we managed to pull him out from there.
Wow.
And We had to lay him down on the ground for a minute to try to see how much damage was done. But since the fire was still going, we decided to carry him around the corner. We tried getting him to move his legs on his own. He just couldn't do it. So we ended up carrying him, for pretty much dragging him from the top half around the corner to the ambulance that was already in waiting. And we had to lift him onto the stretcher.
Wow. So during that process, is it ever crossing your mind that this car could explode and you could die with this man?
Oh yeah, I don't know anything about cars. Everything I know about cars comes from movies. And in movies, they blow up pretty quick when they're on fire. So I don't know if we have 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, but we just got to try to do our best to get them out. And
Wow.
yeah, there's no way any man could sit around and say that they weren't terrified, scared, not knowing exactly what's going to happen at any given point. I just know that we don't know how much of a time crunch we have to work with here.
Yeah, that is amazing, nephew. I mean, yeah, she said, I know I would have been scared to death. Me too. Just the fact that you said the explosion happened first. So, you know, what's to say there was not going to be a second explosion while you got your head and arms in there trying to grab him out?
Speaking of which, there was a second explosion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so after the fire burned for a little bit longer, the horn decided to go off for a good minute because, the fire destroyed that. So then there ended up being another explosion. And that's really what terrified me, because I'm like, hey, we could have been right there. But by at that point, the fire department had already showed up, ambulance. So it was already taken care of at that point.
Man, that's pure bravery. I don't even know what to say, because I mean, a lot of people can say in that situation what they would do, but you reacted knowing that there was a human life in there, and that is why people is calling you a hero. Because I'm telling you, some people would have just pulled their phone out and recorded it. Remember, I mean, we living in 2024. Everybody just wants views and videos,
There were about 40 to 50 people outside, all on their phones, just recording, not willing to put themselves in, get themselves involved to try to see what's going on. You could be recording this man's final moments, and instead of trying to help out, you decided to TikTok it, and that's just disturbing to me.
Yeah, and that's what Mario said. He was scared watching the clip. He said he ran into that, and you ran into that. It's crazy. Misha, your sister said it gives her goosebumps just thinking about it. And right, most people would just record. And Cashel said, no thought at all. You saved that person. So I mean, when I looked at, they had let me see here, a clip. I mean, another thing here where they were talking about you, and somebody was describing what you did. Let me just pull that up real quick. And let's see. There we go. And it says a UPS driver pummeled a car window with his fist trying to punch it open. When that didn't work, he literally peeled back part of the door frame and wrenched the door open enough for the rescuers could pull the car's driver out from between the deployed airbags and the smoldering seat. He was covered in fire extinguisher stuff. The helpers kept trying to put out the fire, but it ultimately overwhelmed their extinguishers. And as an ambulance and fire truck soon arrived, the driver was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. There was gas in the trunk of the car. It may have been that gas that exploded, basically. So, I mean, again, the reason why I wanted you on, and I wanted the community to recognize you. I know you are my bloodline for sure, because we just do what we do because it's in our heart, and I get it. But again, there's a lot of people who would not have stepped into that position what you did, nephew. And you do deserve some praise. You deserve some honor and some love from the community for doing that. And especially, how old are you now? 26? 25. About to be 26 this year. Okay. Yeah. And you risked it all. That could have been the end of your life, trying to save another man's life. And then it goes back to even with Lillian when she died in the Army. She seen a bomb come in. She jumped on her soldier next to her body, and she threw her body in the way of harm, and she lost her life saving another person. And so, man, I'm just proud of you. She said, Wells family, amazing family. You guys' heart are in what you do. Yeah, 100% for sure. And I've seen people do less things than this and be honored by the city or the mayor. And I think that, oh, Fred Abrams said, great job, Kinfolk. Here hero comes from the African Kemet god Heru. Horus the savior. Okay, got a little education on the word hero. So I mean, you definitely you saved a person's life, but you also show so much bravery, and for that, I think you just, you know, like I said, I personally would have been terrified of those flames. Definitely. And I know that you don't like the term hero, and you just did what you did because that's who you are. But people are going to need to fit you in a box, and that's what they're going to keep calling you probably for a while now. William King with 95.7, the boss, also wanted me to give you his number so you can come on the radio. I don't know if you open to that or not, but his show is usually in the mornings, or he would make a special segment for you in general. I'm gonna go there eventually, I think on a Tuesday, so we can coordinate something if you got time or whatever your day off is. And just receive it all, nephew. It's just amazing. And like I said, I don't think the average person would have done what you did. And like you said, it was already people sitting there recording. It was a TikTok video, not a moment to put your life on the line. 25 years old. So yeah. Do you got anything else you want to say or add?
No, I don't. I don't think I have anything else to add.
Yeah.
It's fine the way it is.
Yeah. You're a very humble man. Wells family is an amazing family. I've grown to love and enjoy just seeing the love you put in your community. What he did teaches us all that acts of love goes very far. Yes, sir. Your sister said Andre has always been a protector naturally. Yeah, definitely. We got some stories of protection from you for sure. So yeah, I got my other guests waiting in the wing. I don't want to hold you too long. I know you just got off work. Somebody else just said selfless. Yes. So yeah, we'll be I'll have William King call you and set up the radio interview. And hopefully we see something from the city like they do any other person when they save a life around here. And you get some type of recognition from the city or the mayor, because I think you deserve it. I know you're humble and you don't feel like, you don't really go around talking about it and everything else. But what you did, saving a life, that's God's work. That's hero work. And that's why people calling you that. Okay.
I would hope so. UPS hasn't said anything.
Oh, UPS, you need to get this man a gift basket or something. He said, thank you, brother, for the gravitas sacrifice. Our future looks good, looks bright. Yeah. We love you, DeAndre, and thank you. Right. City better do something for him. Love you, bro. Absolutely. God's work, and thank you. Man, they pouring the love into you, nephew. And you know, that's really why I wanted you to come on here so people can see you a real person. You a real young man. A lot of life ahead of you. But you took that moment in time to risk your life for a stranger that you didn't even know. That's beautiful. Blessings to you, nephew.
Thank you.
Yep, I love you. And I'll be talking to you soon, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you later. Wow, man. Yeah, that is my nephew. That's my sister's son. He's actually a twin. Can't take that call. Yeah, he's actually a twin and one of 12. So yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all pouring some love into him. So my next guest is waiting already on the sideline. And if you don't know who she is, you're going to know now because we're going to bring her on in. And we are live again on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Miss Cheryl Weston.
Yay.
How
That
you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and I think that was such a young man you can be proud of. And we don't get much recognition. Our young Black men do not get recognition, positive recognition. There's always a line of individuals, media, or whatever to tell us when they're negative, whatever
Right.
they do. But here is a young man who you say 25 years old didn't give it a second thought until he was already in it. And then he was like, well, I can't leave now. So um, it was nice of you to recognize him. And I think hopefully more people will take and recognize that point too, and send out love and good wishes and to him and also to the victim. But I just thought that was really neat, and I think it's nice. And we just need more of that. We need to hear more positive stories about our young Black men, because there are a lot of good, young, selfless Black men.
Right. Yeah, and he's so humble. He don't want to, be too recognized and talk about it too much, because he felt like he just did what anybody else would do. But I just, like you said, they quick to point out the bad things young Black men do, and we quick to lock them up here in Omaha, Nebraska,
Right.
with the high incarceration rate of Black men. But this is a time where something good happened, and it needs to be celebrated as much as the news would be if it was something bad. So
Right.
yeah. Yep. So yeah. Oh, Mario said I need my own show. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Hey, Paul, what's going on? Hey, Nyrell. Brother Vaughn, how you doing? So yeah, we here with Miss Weston, and she is what I like to call, she watches that agenda at city council, so she keep me on my toes. So my sister here, we've been through a lot of fires together, and it's not even over. This is only the beginning, because
That's right.
when you talk about brave people, this woman right here, I will follow her through the flames. I will have her back on anything she do. And so yeah, we're gonna dive right in to what we're here to talk about. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, it's mutual. I have a lot of respect for you, and I don't, by now, I don't say things just to be saying them or to butter you up, flatter you. That's not me. But I do have a lot of respect for you, and I certainly would not support you as I try to do if I didn't have that. You do a lot for the community. You're selfless as well. So as you say, it must be in y'all's DNA.
It must be, but that jumping into a fire,
I've thought about that.
Exploded. I'm like,
I don't know about that one.
A little too big. I can't move that fast. That boy's strong and big, So yeah, but yeah, but yeah. So this past couple weeks, we met up at the city council. You was keeping me updated with what was going on, and then we got down there, and I am pretty much at my wit's end with these people. It's just been so much with going about things and talking about things that the community needs, and then them sitting up there doing things for their political friendships. And so I've almost had it with those people down at city council, and I'm at the point where I feel like I might campaign against all of them.
Well, there's a point there, Sherman, is that this election, we're all kind of focused on national, but it's the local elections that make our everyday life either be good, bad, indifferent.
Yes.
And even though we know, most people know by now who they're going to vote for. So let's start concentrating. And I believe it'll be the end of December when anyone who wants to run can register for that. But as soon as this is over, we need to start calling more out, and not just District 2, but we need to take and look at it. We need maybe a clean swipe. And it's the voters. If you don't get out and vote, all that you talk and do is irrelevant. It has no value. It
True.
is getting out to vote. And one of the things, and I don't want to take off because I don't know where all you want to go, but I do have to say this voting is very important. And one of the things that has happened, and you're aware of it, is felons were given the right to vote after they have completed and gone off all paper probation, everything. And what happens? The state attorney wants to try to nullify that. And so what I'm saying is all these different organizations, and whether it be grassroots or mainstream, we should be pushing for those individuals to get registered and be ready to go vote and follow up with them to make sure
Right.
they vote, educate them on what they're voting on. Because if we all got out and vote, we can make a difference.
Definitely. 100%. And I want to acknowledge my nephew right here, Aaron Wolf. That's DeAndre's brother.
Mhm.
So like I said, they won a 12. Michael Watts said he's struggling to understand the city council meeting. Was it passed to be enacted or to put on the ballot? Another person saying I need to run, Miss Gay Collier, of course. Mario says you would have my vote, Sherman Wells. I'm telling you, I run the campaign office. So
All right.
yeah, so that's really what we wanted to talk about, is what happened and what transpired at the city council and what we was there for last week, and then this week the vote, what it was about.
Right.
So last week was the public hearing
Correct.
for the code of conduct, and this was brought to my attention, of course, by Miss Weston. And if you are interested in being in tune with what's going on at city council, drop your email in this chat and we can add you to the email links and conversations, so that way you know and are aware of what's going on, because now is the time that we have to start organizing,
Correct,
showing up and being there to manage what's going on in our city, because these people are elected by us, so they work for us. Even though they think they don't work for us, they work for us. That means we show up to check. They say inspect what you expect. So we inspect them because we expect them to do what they're supposed to do. So we got to show up and inspect them. If you want to give them a brief rundown of what was last week, and then we'll talk about this week.
Well, what happened last week was when it came up on the city council agenda. At that time, it was item 50 and 51. And it was supposed to be, they said, a code of conduct for city council members. And one of the things that they wanted, it was supposed to be doing, was putting into some plan of action if a council member would have, be in the situation like District 4 was with Councilman Vinnie Blair. You just say his name because it happened. We know who it is. Okay, I could go along with that. It's making some kind of plan if that individual, any individual did that. And what they were doing, they claim that it was supposed to be to address that, so that if any council member came underneath those same kind of situation, they wouldn't, whatever district it was, would not have to wait as long. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't have a problem with making that, better. But the problem I have is they knew they were working on this long before last week. And it wasn't brought out until when it's announced, because the city council, that has to be 1 week that it's announced. The next week is usually going to be the public hearing and then the vote. Sometimes they'll have the public hearing and the vote at the same time.
Right.
Again, one of the problems is people, you're not being made aware. And it's very simple. As you said, all you can do, just sign up on the email, give them your email, you become on the list, you'll get the agenda every Thursday. I have a problem with that. It's great to get the agenda, but I feel like our elected officials, whatever district you may be in, is failing us, the public, by not hosting any town hall meetings, having
Right.
any type of engagement about these things until when it gets down to the city council, it's too late.
Yeah.
So the ordinance that they wanted to put this ordinance and put it on the ballot, November 4th ballot, because it's wanted to change the home rule charter. And that has to go on the general election ballot, and it has to be voted up on by the people. Well, when I checked with the election commission and so forth, do you realize that November 4th ballot will probably have close to or more than 13 items, amendments that people will need to vote on?
Wow.
Here again, we've got to educate ourselves so that we don't get there to go and vote. Make that plan. Read what's going to be on. There's a preliminary ballot that comes out. You can get that, look at it, know what you're going to do. And if you go early ballot or mail-in ballot, you had plenty of time to look it over at home, because we need to be doing two things. And I want to bring it up is we need to know what's on there, what we're voting yes or no for. And we also need to be looking at the judges that are going to be on this election ballot November 4th. And I'm throwing that out now, so maybe we can start working on educating our people, our community background on who these judges are. Because you know, as well as I do and others, the judges, the legal system,
Right.
particularly for our Black and brown community, is, as Richard Pryor would say, is just us. It's not justice, it's just us.
That's right.
And we need to know the background on these judges who are sending our Black and brown to a prison, and other groups are getting off with probation or home arrest or wearing a monitor. We need to know who's going to be on that. So what the city council was doing was putting this amendment in, trying to make sure that it could get there, because there's a deadline. See, here's something else. They don't tell you everything. The reason this needs to be going forth is the last date that anything can be put on that November ballot like this has to be there before September 1st.
Mm.
That's the reason why they're pushing this. That's the reason why they didn't get it off. And, you know, they said, oh no, this is really, we're changing, making this possible, that it's not 4 months or 6 months calendar, all of that. Well, that's what they started out saying. But we know, you know, I know what part of the real reason was to put in a code of conduct.
Right.
So the first part of it was 24 was to get this on the ballot to change the home rule charter to provide for an avenue in case they came up with another city council member who did certain things that they outlined in this, such as having a felony, being involved in a violation of the official oath, ceasing to live and be a resident in that council district unless, you know, you have redistricting, or from 3 consecutive calendar months, they reduced it to 4 consecutive meetings. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You know, that's good. But then when they and they made this at the end, because, you know, I always taught, look at that small right. Look at the small print. Look at that last little item, because usually everything is so long that by the time you get to the last, I got it. No problem. So at that last, and there's where a problem you had, I had, and many others who testified, is that the code of conduct be adopted by the city council at a public meeting when violations has been made by, it was 5, but they changed it to 6 of the city council who had determined that removal from the office would be a suitable action. And that's where we ran into a big problem was I don't think you one of those each one of those members from that city council has a right to remove our one vote, one person.
Absolutely, they do not. And because we're the one who vote them in, so we should determine that. And Mario did. He said education is key. So when you was talking about the ballots and even with understanding what we're voting for, and even with those judges, all that stuff is important because we do have a judge right now who I was just saying on the last couple of shows we had that need to be voted off because she is the one who's trying to make it where if you step in to defend a family member, which they did to MII, and he was just asking the police officer not to shoot his son. This is Judge Stephanie Hansen. She's up for re-election. We need to get her out of there because she charged him with she charged him with what was it? Obstruction of justice for protecting his son from being shot by the police who wanted to shoot him just because he felt like he knew MII had this extra case. I mean, from old past and stuff. So again, these are the type of judges we don't need in on our bench no more. And Mr. Watts said you need to add a voter registration organization and political parties to the list. Neither are doing anything to educate voters and get people registered. Black Votes Matter came out loud, talking loud with no results. That's true.
And you also, in this instance right here that we're talking about at the city council, I say, where is the NAACP?
Right. Yep. And
where is the Urban League?
I think we are the NAACP in the Urban League at this point.
But those are organizations that we need, and we need to stop this talking about it among ourselves. Call it out. I don't see NAACP being there, and I didn't see the Urban League. Those are your two mainstream organizations, and that used to be involved in voting and the community.
Absolutely. And so when you talk about code of conduct, I'm gonna share this front part of this video here. And what we seen here was this guy ignoring, it was Dave ignoring Juanita, and then she called him an asshole, a smart ass, I mean, and that is really what they was referencing, but he can be smart with her. And what I want to point out in this video, just this quick clip, is that 3 people on the city council that was there seen and knew who, I mean, they heard and knew who was supposed to answer that question. They looked directly at him and he still decided not to answer, and which to me was a smart ass move. But give me a second.
President, question, point of information. When was the first meeting held for this change?
You look at it. Look at Pete. He looked at him because he knew who he was talking to. Watch Don Rowe turn around. He even knew. And even the dude sitting up here next to him, looking right at him, at Dave, over here in this corner.
Are we not answering questions today, Mr. Fanslaw?
No, that's the first time you called me, so I answered.
See what I'm saying? So he knew who she was talking to. They all knew. And if Pete had any kind of balls, because I called him Passive Pete a couple weeks ago, because
yes, you did.
If you're the president of this is what I'm talking about. Why develop a code of conduct? You're the president. You say, hey, Dave, she's talking to you. Why didn't you just say that? And then it would have not got that far. You're the president. Why are you so passive? These are adults. He's being a smart ass. That's what he was doing. So that's exactly what happened. So now you create this code of conduct, which I call the new Jim Crow, because you're using the law to target people. Again, here we go. And now you create this and say, oh no, it's not that. It's we want to protect city workers, and this is for this and that. Like you said, they slipped it in at the last minute. Let me get to these comments real quick so I don't get too far behind. Shani says she would be down to help get felons registered and to the polls. So that's beautiful. And so she dropped her email in there. Mario said, don't laugh at his email. He do biker events. It's big, sexy, exclusive.
Well, we all need a little laugh from time to time.
Yeah. Michael Watt said, if you can, Cheryl, can you also update on the South Omaha auto recycling business issue?
Okay.
Miss Collier sent her email, And here we are talking about the Urban League. Mr. Binden, he said, where's the Urban League and the Uncle Toms in our community who are getting public funds yet have no outcome or working with grassroots families? And then he dropped his email. Mr. Shabazz, my brother right here, this is my brother in crime. He said the new policy will give the city council and the mayor the power to censor any council member. Obviously, it will be used on our district to disenfranchise voters and their council representatives. Absolutely. And even though right now it's affecting Juanita, the next person in that seat, they will also be held to this. They will be subjected to this. Omaha City Council built as a tool to rubber stamp items or challenge discussions already discussed and planned it. Yeah. Yep. She talking about the 13th Amendment. So again, me and Cheryl both, Cheryl probably more than me, we'll try our best to get it explained to y'all before the vote comes up in November, so everybody know what to do and what to vote on and who we need to vote up out of there. Nicole said yes, Cheryl. Connie said yes. Hey, how you doing, Apostle Javon Chambers? I watched that interview with y'all too. That was very good. Gay said very true. He said Jamal used to think that they were supportive, but just scared to speak out now. I'm assured they are simply in agreement with the content and executing an oppressor agenda, which is true. Man, y'all going crazy. But it's just true. I mean, and like she said, it is time to call it out. And so what they did was they had that session. Then this week they put it on the ballot for November. But like she said, with it being 13 other amendments, it's going to be at least it's going to be hard to know what to vote for, what not to vote for. So we have to definitely educate ourselves. Y'all keep dropping y'all emails, and we'll make sure we communicate with y'all with Miss Weston and to get that stuff out, because she keep me on my toes. She point and I go, you know. That's what we got to do, because everybody can't do everything. And so what she's good at, I'm not that good at. But what I'm good at, I'm good at.
That's
know?
right.
So that's how we split it up, and we respect each other like that.
That's right.
Yeah. He said going to be harder this election season because the number of registered voters in North Omaha has decreased significantly over the years. A lot to do with 90 days that people have been talking about since Obama was elected. Yeah, that's true. So
can I interject one thing?
I was gonna say, go ahead.
It said there that it's going to be hard. When hasn't our life been hard?
Man, that's true.
If we said, oh, it's going to be hard, we wouldn't have anything. We are survivors. We are our ancestors are kings and queens, and they are survivors. What other race has survived what we have gone through?
Better
and
speak
are
on
still
it.
Here. So,
still,
when they say hard, that just means right. It may be hard. Might have to work a little harder, but it doesn't mean that it can't be accomplished. And that's what we need to stop this. Well, it's going to be, we can't. Yes, we can. And we have to come together. We have to get ourselves. Our problem is we want to keep blaming somebody else. But our problem is us. It's a saying in the Bible. And I was at a sermon and the pastor said, Moses went to Pharaoh and said, Pharaoh, let my people go. You know what the problem is? Pharaoh let the people go, but we won't let Pharaoh go. And that's
right.
Where we are right now. I didn't mean to get off on my
but it's true. And even what Mr. Watt said about contacting the media and letting them know these groups no longer represent North Omaha. And, I sent a message to Pastor Williams today because they did an interview with Channel 6 about Martin Luther King III coming. And I said, brother, we are not interviewing with Channel 6 no more because they said I robbed a bank and they refused to apologize. And then when I went there, and like I said, I noticed that I thought maybe the lady just said it on accident, but no, it was wrote into the teleprompter by the producer. And then for you to say I'm not apologizing, and I've given you over 25 interviews myself and then stories, we should not depend on those media outlets to represent us no more. And these people who still gonna turn around and interview with them, we said we're not dealing with Channel 6 no more. They're done. You want a story in North Omaha, you're gonna have to dig and find somebody. But the people who got the stories, who got the news, we're not doing no more interviews with y'all. We're done, because you choose to violate not only the community's trust, But then I put my stuff on the line for this community, and for you to violate that, and then all this mistrust and people, it was a lot of backdoor chatter about that. People, oh, look at Sherman, this is what he done did. Nah, but the people who knew me knew it wasn't true, but it was still,
we were all calling you Sherman.
Yeah.
Did you hear what they said?
Yeah, but it was just it also taught me a lesson that there's people waiting for me to fall. So I think I'm gonna just take it and leave it at that. But I'm gonna definitely continue my efforts with Channel 6. And let's get into a little more of this.
The city council
City
item
council.
25, which is the
Yes.
code of conduct. And that's where we really have a big problem with. And at that time, on a week ago when I testified, you know what? I feel like, and Councilwoman Melton and gave an interview and said that it wasn't. Councilperson Brinker Harding said that it wasn't. But we all feel like that it was against District 2 in representative.
Absolutely.
My thing, I said, I did not, I don't care if it was District 2, District 4, District 5, what district it was. It was the right thing to do for you, I, and others who testified, because it's not about just that person. It is about what they were trying to do. And I say it's still voter suppression, because you're taking away our vote.
Right.
They are up there. They get to vote for the entire city of Omaha. We only get to vote for one person. And district elections, understand what that means. It says you are elected from a district of 7, but you represent and make decisions for the million that Omaha, Nebraska is up to now. So, you are trying to make this judgment. And people can say whatever they want.
Right.
And then this last Tuesday, is Councilperson Brinker Harding said the elephant in the room, according to Cindy Gonzalez's Nebraska Examiner article. Well, let's just say the elephant in the room. It's not about one individual. It's not about. We know that's a lie.
Right.
Because you just showed a clip.
Yeah. And that clip is what got it going. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Miss Johnson may become upset. I'm not going to stand. I wasn't standing for just her. I want her to know that. I'm standing for our rights. It's the right thing. As John Lewis says, you got to get into some trouble sometimes. Yeah. Martin Luther King said, you have to stand, because if you don't stand, you will fall for anything and everything. So you have to stand for what's right. Sometimes we can create our own problems. And there is a way for 7 individuals. And Sherman, every single one of them are supposed to be professionals.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them. And they claim to have. So I say, what happened to treat others as you would like to be treated? And that means all 7. No one gets a break on that. All 7 of those should be treated. You have to have a code of conduct. And,
right, like 6th grade. I haven't heard code of conduct since elementary or school days, when you're telling kids how they need to act. And these are a bunch of adults, elected adults. And I do want to play a little bit of Amy's cleanup from Tuesday.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. It was terrible. But I want to throw this in here real quick. Give me a quick second here. This right here was just atrocious to listen to. Let me see. Okay. Give me a second. There it is. And here we go.
I'm not going to repeat what I said in regards to 24 when I was addressing the removal, that I just addressed like the most egregious things. That's what was part of 24, but part of 25 also includes things that would be less than removal, where city council members still treat staff appropriately. It may not rise to the level of severe behavior that we've talked about for purposes of removal. But again, our city employees, as Councilman Harding stated, all city employees deserve to be treated and respected. And I think a lot of this code of conduct is common sense. It's what we should be doing. It's what the public holds us to. And that's what this code of conduct does. So in addition to what I talked about for purposes of removal, it also gives city employees the ability to file complaint with HR against a council member, have an investigation, and then allow the city council to maybe take care of it and reprimand each other. We could censure, we could, again, we could do this behind closed doors. We can actually have an executive session if there was an HR issue with one of our employees that would allow us to call an executive session and have that discussion with the council member that may be engaging in that behavior. But I think what it does is it says to elected officials, you don't get to do just whatever you want. You can be reprimanded by your colleague.
What's crazy is she's saying that you shouldn't be able to do what you want. You can be reprimanded, but they do what they want. They don't even follow the rules. we go down there and we tell them stuff that we don't want, and then they still do it anyway.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
And if you remember, which I was very disappointed in Councilwoman Melton, on when we went on the 30th, she spent most of her time riding with her head down and didn't even acknowledge the people, not just you and me, but those others, because there was like, what, I don't know, 7, 9, something like that, who spoke. That's disrespectful. So how did the citizens, how do we get to make a claim against that? Right. And this week she claimed, oh, this was for the city staff because there's no protection for them from HR. There's no protection and we need to treat. You are an adult and you want to teach them how to behave. You teach your children how to behave and you can't take and teach yourself. Right. And if you look up what the charter says, any city council, that city council is handled by whoever is the president of the city council.
Right. So what is the point of him? That's why I asked him, what is the point of you being the president? And like Sunchild said, reprimanded. Like, what are we talking about? It was like, if you giving spankings at city council, what are we doing?
Yeah. And it just, it's like, you want to tell me this week, oh, this is because we want to protect the city staff because the city staff doesn't have the HR department to protect them from any elected official. I get that. But if it comes to a point and I'm a city staff member and you harassing me, I know I may not be able to go to HR, but I know there's a bunch of attorneys, which she's one of them is an attorney. I'm going to them. I will sue you and the city. Absolutely. I will sue you personally. So, to make it be like, oh, this week, no, see, this is what this is really about. So we can keep it. I was like, if I'd have been there, I would have had to get up and leave because I know I would have been escorted out because I would have hollered at liar. You know how they did President Obama? I said, liar, because that's what you're doing. And the other thing that they took in here, well, they put in one of the, if you are violation and you're found, the city council remaining 6 who passed this, they could take and remove you from your committee assignments.
Wow. So
if you remove our representative, whether it's 5, 2, 4, or whatever, you're doing the same thing. You may not physically remove them. You may not say you're off, but you remove them because they're not involved. Because as she said, most everything down there is done backdoor.
Yep.
Backdoor channel.
That's right.
Everything down there at the city is backdoor. So if our representative is on a committee of importance, how are we going to get that information? Isn't that the same as not even being there?
Right. That's true.
So,
and like Brother Shabazz said, it's like she's the beta test, and the misconduct, extreme measures is to counter what they appear to be extreme black leaders. So even once we get somebody else in there, they'll be able to go back to this and reference it and say, hey, you're not treating us right. You're not talking to us right. They must have never watched none of those videos of Eric Mays from I don't know if they had a code of conduct, but he put them people in their place, and they had to take him out. But yeah, I think that this is just a dog whistle for Jim Crow, creating a law that's
Yes.
going to target our district person, because it's always going to be that one black person from District 2. And whenever they don't agree with the rest of y'all, then you're going to use this as a way to, we got to vote them out. And then who replaces them? Who votes to replace them?
And that's the way when they did with Benny,
Yeah.
that method, that should have been a special election. That should have been an election to allow the people to make the decision who's going to represent them. That was a sham the way they did that.
That's right. And none of those people in South Omaha wanted Colonel Sanders to be their representative. They just didn't. Let's just be honest. And they didn't want him there for specific reasons. And then he turned around and passed this, if you park on the grass stuff and you had a reunion or a family get together, then police can pull up and harass you. Like, what are we talking about? People park on the grass all the time, South and North Omaha. So, I mean, yeah. But
I want to make sure,
go ahead,
Sherman, that we do get out, because we're going to Jenny. And I have such a hard time with her last name. I just call her, when we talk, I just say Jenny S. Jennis Whiskey or something like that. But she says she laughs. But I said she is going to enact. There is a provision in the Nebraska legislature that says that by petition, we the people can override and have this ordinance move. So that is going to start. And soon as she has more information, I know I'm going to, and I believe you will too, is to work out to send people. So we need your emails on how we can help to get the petition drive, is to get this removed. And you know what that's showing? That is showing the old way, people power.
People power.
Power. The vote is our power. And we have to start, because you made a comment there, and I have been saying this. People, if you don't start looking, North Omaha, you're going to lose your vote. You're going to lose your power, because the demographics are changing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have a black representation or a brown representation, because the demographics are changing.
Right.
People are coming back. So this is important. And I think as soon as we have that information, I know I will be getting it out on Conversations with Cheryl Weston, and I'll be sending it to you, is to get it out. We need help. And that's the way to show. It says, hey, we put you in there and you are going to answer to us, because their paycheck comes from us.
Absolutely. And that's just what he was talking about, appealing the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, a lot of this started when my name was back. Remember, first meeting community was already a news photo op. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Lavanya, some of the same people doing like Lavanya. Yeah, it's all true.
Yes.
Yeah. And what is she citing from? She was just talking out her butt, bro. I mean, Amy Melton, she's a lawyer. She was just doing her lawyer stuff.
I called it her summation before the jury.
Right.
I want to tell you, hey, you didn't convince this jury.
Nah, you definitely didn't convince us of nothing. Just a bunch of blabber. He said, don't city employees have written policy procedures as guides their code of conduct?
You have to remember, the city council is elected. Members elected. Yes, there is a code of conduct at not so much as code of conduct, but it's called the Directors of Human Relations Department. There are certain policies, but what they're doing is trying to make it be like, we are saying this is to protect those city employees, the city council staff, to be able to make sure that those workers are taken care of. No, you did it because you had one person that you wanted to alleviate. And what's that old saying say, that be careful, because what goes around comes around, and it might end up being you next time.
Yeah, that's true. MII said we should fight it in court, challenge it, tie it up in court all the way to federal court.
The reason why we're trying to go with the petition is because that Nebraska's legislature, 15 days from once this happens. So if you go, there's nothing that stops you from filing a court case either. But, if you don't make that action within those 15 days, you've lost that capability. So you want to make sure that it gets done as soon as possible.
Okay. Yep. She dropped her email to Sunchild. She want to get involved with the voting initiative. And he said our current new government is functioning as old Marxism for the new one world government. That's true.
That's true.
Man, it is true. And in that thing when I talked to them last week, I was talking to them because I have sent them letters about addressing OHA. And you won't take on that. You don't want to have a public hearing with Joni or none of that, but you want to continue to bring up all this stuff with your in-house fighting and the things that you think is important to you, but not what's important to the community. And so I just want to show real quick here. So I got this letter. Let me just show this real quick. Ooh, not her. Ugly face. Definitely not her. Let me see. Here we go. So yeah, I got this letter from the judge one day before my case. Okay. And so this is a letter from the judge recusing himself from my case with OHA one day prior. The actual hearing was on the 30th. You see, the stamp actually happened on the day of, and then the 31st. So the stamp happened on the day before. They did it 2 days before, which then pushes my case against OHA and Joni back to September. Okay. So, but you knew about this hearing all this time. And so here we got another game being played. And when I asked City Council, can we have a hearing for her to give her a chance to say why she's banning me? She said I had unauthorized access and she said I was harassing her employees or staff or whatever, but I didn't talk to none of them. And you know what else, Cheryl? That lady who I told them was a great lady at Evans, you know what they did? They made her zone manager now. So they took my word that she was a great employee and made her the zone manager. And so a month before that, they were sending me emails saying, thanks for the positive feedback about Kayla. And then the next week you say I'm harassing, but City Council won't address that. They don't want to say nothing because we know that there's this friendship with Joni and Amy and the mayor and all these people that they're appointing to the board. So again, here we have like somebody was saying in here about the unity, the lack of unity. Royal Michael, what did he say? There it is. We allow this to happen to us because the unity doesn't has a defense mechanism, so anything can and has gotten in. And it's true.
Yes.
And it comes with these people too. So even if I have to go hang posters in these other people's districts, I'm going to, because I do not want none of them on this city council when they come back. I really don't. I wish they was all gone and we had a whole new clean slate, because nobody is taking on the stuff that's actually happening. And with OHA, we're not talking about something we want done because we live there. These are people suffering mold in their lungs, bed bugs. That's trauma, waking up every 5 minutes because something is biting on you and stuff. This is a human
being.
A human being in a humanitarian crisis. And nobody wants to take it on. But we ain't gonna talk about the plans because we got to keep hiding our hand until we get it all done. But I just wanted to bring up the fact that I did have court. I was supposed to go. They waited one day. So again, here's another one of the games they playing. And shouts out to my brother MIA for helping me with that case, because again, no attorneys in Omaha wanted to take on OHA. Just like no attorneys wanted to take on WOWT because they said they get publicity from them. So I have to reach out to outside attorneys to get this stuff done. And this is what we have to do. But education of law, like brother MIA always preaching, we have to understand the law so we can start representing ourselves and get this stuff done.
And people need to understand, not only were you taken supposedly banned for something that you didn't do, John Trout, who 80 some years old,
83, man,
83, who volunteers, is, and I've known him for years, and I'm, his character, it's not in his character to be and say things that aren't true. There was
Right.
no need. They claimed, and then have they been able to, who was the person that said that? Who have they identified who heard him say that?
Nope.
And then now their case, his case has been moved to September as well. But guess what? Here's the
What?
kicker. It's going to be a little different because guess who's been subpoenaed?
Who?
Joni Poor.
Good, because they sent me a letter and said that she won't show up to my court hearing. Another attorney is going to show up to represent her.
Yeah, this attorney, John Trout's attorney, subpoenaed her.
Good.
So let's see how she gets. But even still, I think it's so important that we keep putting this out there, because when I talked with Bishop Chambers, and he made it very clear, because there's a letter that he wrote, and I put it out on Conversations with Cheryl Weston and also on the Facebook page. There's a letter that he wrote. And as he said on the show, it's not just the board.
Right.
It's city council as well. The mayor recommends and city council approves. And as I say, I call them the enablers. You enable that person to do that. And you need to call them out. And you need to make that city council, again, here's another reason why we need to have a clean sweep, maybe, is to get people who are going to do the job that they were elected to do. And so if, as I see there, Bishop Chambers, hi there, it says that if OHA was a third world country, our government would intervene to assist for the sake of humanity.
Absolutely. And you know what's crazy is he's not even from here. He came here from Chicago.
Right.
But already has written a letter and put himself in the middle of this because he knows what's right.
Yes.
And here we got people who's been here that's in these churches and the NAACP Urban League. They won't even write a letter, won't stand up, won't say nothing.
Nothing.
So I salute that brother for even doing what he did. Me and him been talking for quite some time. I met him on LinkedIn and he sent me his phone number. We talked on the phone and already he's ready to fight. And that's that Chicago in him. So I love you, brother, and I respect you for that.
Yes, and there was several people that have contacted me that said that they're ready to assist him. So I'm going to be giving him their number and email so that he knows right now he's not going to be in this fight alone. But it's, as you said, it takes somebody sometimes from outside that has to come up and say, hey. And, you know, HUD, when he sent his letter, and I told him, I said, we've had a conversation with the local and they've done nothing to make a change. They keep saying, you know, excuses.
Yeah.
And what's that old cliche? You know what an excuse is.
Yeah.
We all got it. Excuses is nothing more. Like I'm not going to say on the show. But anyway, you know, I think we have to do something about OHA because it just upsets me to think that we are treating the Nebraska Humane Society will take and come and get you, handcuff you, take you down, put you into, and 9 times out of 10, you will get a sentence of jail time for mistreating an animal. And we all have, most of us have pets. We love our dog. I mean, he lives like a king in this house. He rules the house. But you think I'm going to treat him better than I would treat a human being? I feel like I'm blessed that I don't have to be in one of those facilities and I don't have family at this time in any of those facilities.
Right.
I feel blessed, but I cannot stand by and see those people being mistreated as they are.
At all. And then like Mr. Watt said, we need a tight strategy for rerunning and developing a strong candidate. Because keep in mind that most of the black officials elected, we dislike still run unopposed, which is true. Brother MII, you got a question? Go ahead and pop it in there. This one right here, where she said, we've gotten too comfortable doing nothing.
Amen, amen, amen.
We've got too comfortable doing absolutely nothing. And we got to do something if we want to see some change. You can't do nothing. He said, let's stand together. Completely restaffed, renamed, everything. Absolutely. Even their service and community organizations like the Links, Black sororities, fraternities, Masons, ELJS, etc., put their service and advocacy towards issues in other communities and not their own.
Amen. Again, I gotta say amen. Feel like I'm back in church today, and it's not Sunday.
Right. He wanted to know what was the purpose of the petition.
The petition to come is not, it hasn't started yet. The petition is a statute in the Nebraska law that allows the people to put a petition together and get the necessary signatures to overrule or recall a ordinance that was passed by the city council.
Oh, so that's the process, is the petition.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you have enough signatures on that, then we could take that and overrule that ordinance and have this withdrawn, because it needs to go off the books. I just cannot get over how you can elect 7 individuals that are supposed to be professionals, supposed to know how to treat people. They talk about how they raise their kids to have respect and everything and rule, and then they cannot accept another individual that's on their same board. Come on. And I still go back. All that is, everything up there is leadership, and it falls on the leader.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Mario said he stayed in Florence Towers for 2 days and left. The first night I was okay. The second night I started getting bit. I went looking and it was bed bugs. I told the manager, she did nothing. I left with the clothes on my back. OHA needs a serious overhaul. That's true.
Right.
Yep, and we need that for Douglas County commissioners too. Yeah,
that's Nicole. Nicole's my girl. We just met, but I felt like I've known her for a while because she's got such fire. She's ready to go. She's and it's not necessarily she's in this community, but she's, when it's wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. And brother MIA said it's too slow, too passive. Go straight to court for violating constitutional rights. And I say do it all. If the petition is going to happen and then you want to go that route and we can help put that together, let's do it all, because I think everybody has their role to play, and it's not to downplay what nobody else can do. I say do everything possible and come at every angle like we've been doing with OHA. And this has been I think this has been all year we've been doing this stuff.
That's right.
And we brought in so many people and so many news and so many different things. It's and it's long from not being over. It's just a lot. And it's a big thing, and it went on for so long. And with them being such a huge organization, it's taking a lot to chop at it. It's like a bunch of people with pickaxes, just picking away. Yeah.
And I think too, I remember some of the sayings because I read books on it. Malcolm X, he says, by any means necessary to win.
Yeah.
If you're going to win, you're going to fight, you're going to want to win, it's by any means necessary. So all of the avenues that are available to us, hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
And, I think, and if he wants to go to court, there's nothing to stop. Don't go to court. We're not saying, at least I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, while that's going on, other things can be going on, and hopefully we'll get something accomplished.
Brother Sebastian throw everything and the kitchen sink
at him, and I agree. Now he's like, that's what I like, And there's other things that's going on that people need to realize about what's happening in North Omaha. That includes land and property that OHA is involved in. So I don't want to forget. You got 75 North. And it's been awful quiet and something going on. They are the ones that do all the OHA housing. They are the ones that are building or have the contracts with them. Sometimes when you have something and you don't hear Land Bank, Omaha Land Bank, all of these organizations are involved with land.
Yeah.
Again, Malcolm X said, if you don't own it, you don't control it. And that is what our big problem is right now.
That's true. And Brother Michael brought up something. Me and him was talking about it the other day. I still need to continue digging into it about the EBT. and people not getting their stuff replaced from the power outage. So I think once I get some more information on that, we'll talk about it, Brother Michael, because I think it is a good topic. And we do need to know, where's that relief money going to and coming from, and how should it be distributed? Should it only be people that's already getting EBT? Because right now our grocery price, I don't know. I mean, I can't even. I paid $200. I probably got 6 bags. I don't know. Like, food is high, man. It's out of control. So yeah, it's out of control. Brother Watts wanted to talk to you about the coal plant and what is going on with that effort. I know you was already working on that too.
Right. And we are, and we're going to have a meeting coming up where the CEO, Javier Fernandez, is going to be speaking. We're hosting it at Metro Community College, and we'll be getting that flyer out. What we want to do is to have some certain questions for him to address, but also we want to have time for individuals to address those questions. Because, see, there's a lot of money. It's called the Underneath That Reduction Act through the Biden that is set for, and it's by tracks, zip codes, and 6, 8, 1, 10, and 11, and I believe 104 might be in it. Yeah. And then there's South Omaha. There's money that is set aside for these programs to help people with becoming more energy efficient. When I went to one of the board meetings, they were saying, well, OPPD's rates are low. They may be one of the lowest ones in the country, but if you're on the other side of 72nd Street, like West, you might get an electric bill that's $60 to $75. But if you are on the east side of that, your electric bill is going to be anywhere from $300 plus. I know people who have $900 gas, and the reason why? Because their home is not energy efficient. And there's money out there. And so we want to know why OPPD won't go after the money that will be able to help people to pay their bills. And we also want, I talked to OPPD and they said, well, we have these different agencies that you can go to if you get behind. A lot of people don't want to go because you already feel bad enough, Sherman. But when you go in there and somebody's going, well, why didn't you have your bill paid? Well, wait till you get a shut off notice. I can't wait till I get a shut off notice. If I got a shut off notice, guess what? My electric's going to be gone by the time you get all the paperwork. Yeah. And there's programs out there. You could be with the smart thermostat. How many people know that would help reduce your bill? We want education of the things that are possible and available for people who are in marginal areas. And the coal plant, what are you going to do for those who have suffered a burden of that, not only financial, but health-wise? So we are working on that, and hopefully they will put anybody who's interested in being involved in that, put your email address in there, and Sherman will get that to him, and we'll definitely get you the flyer and all the other information.
Yeah, and Brother Michael, I know it's definitely important about those lost groceries, so I'm still digging into it, and soon as I can get the gist of it, I will definitely let you know, and then we'll talk about it on the show. But I do want to make sure. Mario said his electric bill was $285 to $350 a month. Yeah,
that's right. If you live east of 72nd Street, I don't know very many people who are getting any $60, $75 less than $100 electrical bill. They're not. But prove me wrong. And if you prove me wrong, hey, guess what? I apologize.
Right.
I'm not too big. Take it.
Yeah, Brother Watts, you on the road today.
I don't know who this is, but I sure would I want to meet you. We got to have a conversation.
This is so funny right here. Oh, man, that is too funny. Yeah. But I want to make sure I put this up here too, just so people know that this weekend there will be a all tenants meeting, and let me see, full screen layout. So from Sunday, August 11, 2:30 to 4, and it's for OHA tenants only. So if you're a tenant or know anybody in the OHA scatter site, residents, it don't matter, tower, anything, they'll be discussing OHA tenants' legal rights, both relating to remediating the bed bug conditions and compensation. And they'll have a couple of guest speakers, attorney Jeffrey Lippman and Steve Wandro. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that people knew about that and that they can show up to that. And you know, if you got any questions that you need answered, go ahead and pop up and get your questions answered.
And we might make note that those two attorneys have been involved in winning class action suits or suing housing authorities, not so much as even class action, but suing housing authorities. One was in Iowa, one was in Missouri, and they won over $4 million. So if that's what it's going to take, Omaha, you know, Omaha's got money. Mucho money. Get some of it. So
Omaha
if that's going to take it to bring this to the head and get that organization cleaned out, then that's what we have to do. And this is, as you said, it is tenants. And if you know someone, or if you can bring, if you have a relative that is living in any of those OHA facilities, try to get them to this meeting.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, and I think that you know, if we can get them to that meeting and it's not gonna go away. This ain't gonna be one of these things where they feel like black people gonna just keep talking and then let it slide and wait for the next thing to happen and get mad. We're not doing that. So and Mario was talking about his niece doesn't get EBT, but it's supposed to be a number to call to get disaster EBT. He said he gonna talk to her when she get home and get me the number. I appreciate that, brother, because I do want to make sure that we get on top of that. And Mario, they said check the state of Nebraska has to declare something or do something to get the funding. Okay, yep, that's true. And then brother MII said don't forget to mention the Supreme Court hearing this month. Yep, that's coming up. We got to make sure we get on top of that. And I'm sure what I'll do is we need to have probably another quick show or something, even if it's just a pop in to just give them the update and the information on that, brother. Okay. So we'll talk to you about that. And Wanda said I have flyers if they need some dropped off. That's beautiful for the event for Sunday, August 11th at 2:30 to 4 from AV Sorensen, 4808 Cass Street. So yeah, we got to keep moving forward, but we need all hands on deck. We need more people that can do the small things, because I always say North Omaha is like a machine with a bunch of moving pieces and parts. And if we can get all the pieces together, then we can keep moving forward. But when you're missing pieces, then it's harder to move forward, but it's still possible. Like Miss Weston said, our ancestors move forward through a lot of stuff. So it's never impossible. It just might take a little longer and a little more late nights burning the candle, but we can do it. Mario said, can I send him the flyer? For sure, we'll do. And we'll make sure we get on that. Oh, and she brought up the juvenile justice planning forum. See, and this is what I'm talking about. There's so many things going on. We have to, it's just so many things going on. So this right here, the Concord Mediation Center, 2910 South 84th Street, Saturday, August 10th, 9:30 to 11. And they'll be talking about the juvenile justice planning forum. So yeah.
And there's money there again. Those people have received a grant. And when I went to the one that was at Metro, they had 3 of them. I went to the one was at Metro, and they were talking about the zip code. You know which zip codes most of those children and stuff come from? 68104 and 111. 68111. Whose children are those? Those are our children.
Those are our children.
And these people, and I don't know of any people of color who I saw who were in charge there, but they're people making all the decisions for our children.
Right. Yeah, and they rather lock them up than help them out. And I've seen a lot of that this summer. So yeah, I'm definitely glad you joined me. I know it was like a 2
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I know.
And a lot of people.
You know what I said?
Yeah.
When you asked me, what did I say?
Anything for me.
You're right.
And I really appreciate it. And anytime you need me to come on, you know I'll be there for you too.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, so we've had a consistent 15 to 20 to 30 people. Now, when I log off this live, I can guarantee when I go to it, it's going to be over 300 views because people was watching and just not clicking in. But it's all good. That's why we're not sharing some of the extra efforts on OHA. But just know it's not going away.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and having me on. I really do enjoy it because we are working towards one. And as Bishop Chambers said, from the outside, you know, he sees people going here, doing that and doing that. But the problem we have, we're not doing anything collectively together in unity. Numbers make a difference. And I hope everyone that, you know, that is watching, not saying anything, is I'm not going to, every time I'm going to be on my show, I want to talk about voting. This is one of the most important elections ever, ever. And we need to get out there and vote and make a difference because people, they are going to take away. I'm starting a new series on Project 2025.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going to happen if we don't get out and go vote. So I'm going to keep on. I see Paul dropped in. Drip on OHA. You know, yeah, he's got his office right on the corner.
Yeah.
But you know, Sherman, we've got to do everything we can to make sure we get our people out to vote, not just registered. I think it's great. You got to get registered. Yes. But it's the vote that's going to make the difference. And if we want to hold on to the little things that we have, if we want to hold on to any little democracy, any of that, we've got to vote because the vote is the power. And as you said, we're going Jim Crow days now. And I said on my Facebook page, I'm not going back. Not now or ever.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe in 2024 we got a city council making a law to target somebody. It's just crazy. And Mr. Watt said he strongly encouraged those on this call to start pressing funding opportunities to reevaluate who they support. And more information and dialogue has come from this conversation and groups currently getting funding. That money needs to shift in our direction. That's 100% true. We could always use it to help with even like the printing. I do visit a lot of people right now in OHA. I have to meet them around the corner, but we still doing that. And yeah, it all takes time. It takes money. But what I do is for the love and passion of my people. I love this community. I'm born and raised here. I'm a son of here, a nephew, uncle, and the same as Miss Weston. You know, it's the love and passion. And so the more you speak on it, and the more you put it out there, what you're doing, you'll attract these other spiritual people that's here for the battle. And so that's why we have joined together, because we spoke on it, we've seen each other, and now we clicked up, and it's here for the battle. And so anybody else interested, continue to drop your emails and join the battle, because it's definitely a battle. But this is our town. Don't nobody run it but us, because the people is the power, not the people who got elected to think they have the power. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. See you later, Miss Weston. Y'all have
a good day. You keep doing it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Bye.
All right.